If you thought the only thing you can grow in the UK is tomatoes, potatoes, or even the odd courgette, you are very much mistaken. So join me as I show you what I am growing at my allotment in the UK. Everything from kiwis to melons to pomegranates and grapes. Let's get in and check it out. So the first thing I'm going to show you is my kiwis. Okay, the sun's gone in now, so it's actually in the shade, but the area that I've got my kiwis growing is just behind me. Let me show you. Here it is. Here is my kiwi vine. This is the Kiwi Jenny, which is a self-fertile variety. And if we just look in here, here they are. Here are the kiwis. I got 5 kiwis last year. I think you can tell I'm already getting 10 times as many. Look at all those bunches. If I zoom in up there, you'll see how many more I have. And those are really starting to swell now. They're growing lovely. I don't think they'll be the same size as yet that you buy in the shops, but they will be probably about the size of a golf ball when they are fully swelled up. So that kiwi vine loves it. It's sheltered in this area. It's got the corrugated iron behind it, and the sun, it keeps in the sun more or less all day long until around about 5 or 6 in the evening when it just ducks down. In fact, I've just seen another bunch right up at the top. Look at those. They are fantastic. So that's our first one. That is the kiwis in the UK. Okay, now we're going to go inside the greenhouse. I'm going to show you my pomegranates. Okay, so the pomegranate tree is right at the back of my greenhouse. It's actually planted in the ground, been in the ground for about 8 years. Here it is. And you can tell it's a pomegranate just by these fantastic looking flowers. Look at the colour of them. Like a really bright orangey, pinky red. There's a few more just in there. And if they get pollinated, this again is a self-fertile pomegranate tree. They will produce pomegranates. I do normally get 1 or 2, and they grow to about the size of a tennis ball. And they are very, very sweet. In fact, I've got more buds in there, I've just noticed. So the more buds you get, they'll attract the pollinators in, and hopefully we'll manage to get some pomegranates this year. You might have just noticed next to it is my cucumber apple. There they are. Have you ever known anything like it? These are cucumbers that grow into the size of an apple. There's one. Look at that. If I try and grab hold of it. I've never grown these before, so I'm not actually sure how big they go, but they are a cucumber like an apple. Okay, you might have also noticed I am in the greenhouse, and just behind me, or all the way through here, we have the bunches of grapes. This is the green or white seedless Lakebump variety. They are very, very easy to grow. I just trim this vine a couple of times a year, and then I get 50 to 60 bunches of grapes. Spin you around there. So look at all these bunches. They're already swelling up quite nicely. They are fantastic. You can actually make juice out of them, or you can make wine out of them if you had enough. But I technically just wait till about August, September when they start really ripening up, and then just eat them like sweets. As you can see, they're also just dangling down on the top of my greenhouse. Tons and tons of grapes, even dotted in amongst all of my tomato plants. We've got more grapes. These are so good and easy to grow, really winter hardy, and then every year you get a huge crop of lovely seedless grapes. Okay, sticking with while we're in the greenhouse, here are my melons. Now they haven't quite started to form yet. Here's the little flowers. Here's a watermelon plant, and that's already started growing and trailing everywhere. But as you can see, these melons have gone a little bit crazy. So each of those flowers, again, if they get pollinated, they'll become their own little miniature melon. I say miniature, they are supposed to be pretty much the size of a watermelon. That's quite big. That's the Papito F1 melon. So 2 types of melons, but there are hundreds of varieties of different melons you can grow. As you can see in there, the vine has started trailing, and it's also started climbing up against the side of the greenhouse. These really are climbing, trailing plants. And while I'm at it, I may as well show you my cucumbers. Look at this fella. Oh, it's a real big bendy one. I'll try and free it a little bit. There you go, you can see it. Look at the size of that cucumber. The leaves are big enough, actually. Wow. So there is a nice big cucumber, but in amongst there are many, many more. There's 2, 3. Oops. Another little baby one. And this plant has taken over the whole back wall of my greenhouse. Luckily, I have these solar fans just providing a nice breeze of air coming in. That's really nice there. I've just spotted. This is how high up my cucumber apple has gone. Actually got to be careful that it's going all over the grapevine. But they can have fun, they can trail where they want. Now, before I leave the greenhouse, just want to quickly show you my peppers. The peppers are growing fantastically. Look at these. These are the snack peppers. They are all actually on one plant. They'll grow a little bit bigger and then they'll turn red and then I can eat them. They're very sweet pepper. And next to it here, we've got the slightly larger peppers. Again, they will go, I think they go in orange colour. Yeah, they are the sweet Capsicum, sweet Delirio orange pepper. So they will be fantastic. And I've got all of these starting to grow nicely now. All this heat we're having in the UK has really, really brought these peppers along. So just having a quick look. There's no more fruit started yet. They are predominantly on these plants here. Right, let's get outside and see what else I can show you. Right, you might have noticed as I was walking around, here are the banana trees. The top of those leaves are over 15 foot high, and these have been in the ground. These come back every single year. Some of them die off, but then they send out a new baby. So that's one that produced bananas last year and then died off. And then in the center is the new baby. That's all growth from this year. These are where I chopped these back. Chopped them back in the winter down to here and protected them, and then that is all this year's growth. So I've got 4 on that side, and down here I've got 1, 2, 3 growing here. Just give you that little view of my bananas. These are the Musa Bajoo bananas. So although they do produce bananas, they are inedible, but they are great for the foliage. I just love looking at them when I walk into my plot. Let's have a quick look inside the polytunnel. This has been brilliant. I've had to put a net over the front to stop the birds. But on my left-hand side, I've still got the last few blueberries. I've had plenty of blueberries off these plants. I've kept them in here out of the way of the birds, but they've given me plenty of blueberries, which is really nice. Next to it is the Cucamelons. So these tiny little, they're the fruit starting. They grow to about the size of a large grape, and they are the Cucamelon. And you get so many. I think you can see every one of those little flowers is going to become its own Cucamelon. That is going to be covered in them very, very soon. They look like a miniature watermelon. Very, very pretty and fun to grow. I've got them growing up this kind of mesh trellis. Coming down to the back, really want to show you my strawberries. These have done well. I've had to hang them up here because I think that there was some mice getting in and eating them, but I am getting plenty of strawberries. In fact, that one's probably ready to eat. So juicy, so delicious, straight from the plant. And then the plants themselves have already started sending out all the runners. And every single one of them, wherever you can see a little patch of roots, just like that little nodule, that will become its own plant. So each of these, if I pot all these up, they will become probably about 20 to 30 more strawberry plants around the other side. You can see there's just so many. Each of those flowers will then also become its own strawberry plant. Plenty of them. Then I've got more strawberries left over here, and this is one I've actually already potted up. Just a runner, and it's already producing a strawberry. Well, producing a few. So they're looking fantastic. Right, let's get out of here. It's too hot. Right in front of me is my pears. This is the conference pear. I think you'll agree, they are looking wonderful this year. So many bunches. Looking for some real perfect. Oh no, what is that? Oh, I'm not liking the look of that. That is a caterpillar. Oh wow. That is a caterpillar nest. Uh-oh, I think I might have to take that out. Oh, he's climbed out already. Oh, yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Anyway, we'll move on. I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's have a look in there. Look at those pears. 3 pears on pretty much every bunch. There's 4 pears. Wow. Gonna get some good pears this year. There's my gunnera, or should I say my dinosaur food, or giant rhubarb. Do love that plant. But here I want to show you the figs. So on the right side, produce no fruits. But on the left side, I've had to bag them up so the birds don't get them. But if I just have a little look in one of these, just want to show you how good these figs are. These are going to start ripening very, very soon. Next to my hand, that is how big these are. They'll probably go to about at least 50% bigger from now on. Look at them. As I say, I've bagged them all up so the birds don't get them. But some of them I have obviously missed. But it must be at least 50 figs on this plant, this tree. And these are the brown turkey fig. This one on the right really needs a good chop back, so I'll do that next time. Okay, coming round just next to the fig tree is my apple tree. This is the Braeburn. So there's hundreds of varieties of apples that you can actually grow in the UK. It is the ideal climate for apples. And this tree here is now producing so many apples. Just above my pond, which the lily pad has just sent out its first flower, which is lovely. Although I do need to get rid of all that green stuff, whatever that is. I'll just have to use my net to scoop it out. But just above me, sadly, I did have apricots. And I've still got one growing, but it has gone a bit bad looking. And then I've tried to protect the last one again with a fruit bag, which is in there, but it'll be tricky to get to it because it might fall in the pond. This next to it is the cherry tree, which the birds ate all my cherries. So I might have to rethink that one for next year. Again, this one here is my peach tree. Zoom out a little bit. Looks fantastic with the sun shining on it. I did have peaches. Unfortunately, the birds beat me to it. They got them first. But I've just spotted my other apple tree, just coming over to this side of the plot. This is my Granny Smith apple tree. Look at the bunches of apples on this. So many, so many. This tree never seems to do very well, but whatever's happened this year, it is producing wonderful, wonderful amount of apples. I've got to be careful. Some of those branches, they're starting to look a little bit heavy and they might actually break under the weight of the apples, but we'll see. They are designed to take them, so you never know. Looking great. Right, finally we're going to come round the back of the greenhouse. I'll just show you what else is growing. Here is my fruit cage. I'll just open that up. This is my fruit cage that I made out of an old trampoline, and inside here I've got lots of soft fruit. So I've got the yellow raspberries, we've got the red raspberries, I've got the red gooseberries. These are lovely. You don't have to cook them. You just pick them straight off the plant, and they are so sweet, just like a big grape. Because I've got this mesh all around it, the birds can't eat them anymore. But underneath there, hopefully you can see them all. These are my red currants. And if I didn't have this mesh around them, the birds would be all over this. They would destroy them within a day. So that's why I've got this covering them. I've actually got some more More raspberries. These are the Josterberry. And then there's some strawberries dotted at the bottom, I think. Yeah, in amongst them. And then finally, this is the Chilean guava, which will be producing lovely, sweet Chilean guavas. So, got to keep these covered because the birds will just destroy everything in there. We'll come out of the giant fruit cage and off we go around the back of the greenhouse. I can't pass these without showing you them. These are my giant sunflowers. And here we are, look at the top. It still hasn't even formed the proper flower head yet, that big one. That's already 12 foot high. We have the courgettes. So they are your staple, really, really easy to grow. That'll produce me 50 courgettes maybe if I'm lucky. Got some outside tomatoes. And then a couple more sunflowers. If I can just reach that. There's the first one, just about to open. They've been doing really, really well. Here's my nice seating area, although it's become a little bit overgrown. I will be seeing to that next year, or in the winter, should I say, when I've got more time, and I'll be able to train everything up and over the top of this pergola. Here is the Golden Delicious apple tree, and just like the other two apple trees, this is doing wonderful as well. Just looking inside there, there's apples all over this, and I do like the Golden Delicious. I think this is possibly one of my favourites. It's just so reliable. Look at all these bunches. These are wonderful apples. And I keep this tree fairly trimmed back. It's not too high. You know, there's my head height. So you can just pick them straight off the tree when you're ready. But I've got one final apple tree. It's my new one. It's called the Fiesta apple. And if you like pink ladies, this is one of the closest you'll get to a pink lady in the UK. It's really sweet. And already you can tell it's got that pink colour to it. So this is the Fiesta apple. I've had to put this chair here because these are going to get far too heavy. So this chair is actually just balancing some of these bunches of apples. Hopefully you can just see them. And then look, there's another, look at all them. That is wonderful. There must be 1, 2, 3, about 8 apples on that one bunch. So that is the Fiesta apple. Here's all my pumpkins. They are starting to grow now. I think I spotted the first pumpkin already. Starting, yeah, down here. You can just see in there, if I lift that up, there it is. There's the first pumpkin. There's the flower on top of it. But wherever there's a flower, if it gets pollinated, in fact, one's male, one's female. I don't know the difference, but I normally get about 10 to 15 pumpkins off this one pumpkin patch. And then look at the blackberries. This is blackberries as far as the eye can see. They don't normally ripen up just yet. It's normally a couple of weeks off. But I think with all this hot weather in the UK, we're already now starting to get blackberries ripen. And this produces tons and tons of blackberries. As you can see, hopefully, if I just move backwards, that entire bush is just blackberries galore. So you can just see the amount of blackberries on that. Cannot complain. Okay, so just wanted to show you everything that was growing at the allotment. There is more. There's things I haven't covered here, but I've just wanted to whiz around. I wanted to show you the things that you don't normally associate, especially with growing in the UK, such as the melons, the kiwis, the pomegranates, and everything in between. So hope you enjoyed seeing everything that's growing. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because I'll do another one of these videos in a couple more weeks, and hopefully we'll actually have some bigger, bolder, more juicy and ripe fruits to show you, and there could even be a melon or two to try in between. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please take care. See you next time. Bye now.